I grew up right by the railway tracks. It's called the Beach Line, just off Mountain Avenue on a street called Minigaff. We played a lot of, in the early years, non-organized sports because they weren't there. I remember playing, for instance, baseball. I did play Optimist League, but prior to that, it was basically getting all the kids in the neighborhood, forming your teams, picking a captain, and play the game. That's interesting. We had across the street from where I lived was just a big field, and the fire department used to flood it. Just pour water on an open field, and you put your skates on at home, and you walked across, and the best you could. Then we started playing at what it was known as COAC, and prior to that, the skates I had, you could pretty well fold them up and put them in your hip pocket, and played pee-wee hockey. And then I went to playground hockey, playing at Robertson Rink, and then on to there to my more organized hockey at COAC, CPAC, and also at Northwood, where we won a Bantam A provincial championship. Playing probably one of the more interesting times was during the Christmas break for the NHL. Billy Mosienko lived in our area. And we'd come over to our rink, which was the Robertson Rink, and we would play corner to corner. It's interesting, not goal to goal, but corner to corner. And there might be 30, 40, or 50 kids on the ice at the same time. But it was a survival of the fitness. So I was pretty small at that time, but still, you took your bumps and grinds and you played. Well, the first pair of shin pads I had were actually just somewhat of an imitation leather over felt. And there were like sticks in there, like ribs, and then the top was just felt. The early years was a fellow by the name of Jim. I'm just trying to think of his last name right now. And then Ors Slobodian was probably a very influential coach I had when I played juvenile hockey and midget hockey back at COAC. When we played with Northwood, actually the team was we only had 9 skaters. Buddy Parnell was our goalie at the time. Byron, he played for the Canadians. Edgar Wood at that time was considered the best midget juvenile or midget player in Manitoba. Unfortunately, that didn't pan out for him, but he was one heck of a hockey player. Sicharski, who ended up winning a scoring race in the Western Canada Hockey League, he played for the Brandon Wheat Kings eventually. Went up with players, and I played at a higher level a few games with a fellow by the name of Bobby Stoik, who also won the scoring champion when he played for the Winnipeg Rangers, and he also played for the Brandon Wheat Kings. So, yeah, there would be the various parts of the city because it was quite dense of hockey. Not like today that you may have one midget team. There was multiple teams, with the Orioles, whether it's River Heights or Kelvin. Kelvin was always a big competition for us, and so on. The Norwood group, a fellow by the name of January, and again, he played in the Western Hockey League as well. Kelvin was a natural rivalry where they have Price. I remember a fellow by the name of Price. He played there. He was a very excellent hockey player, but he was small for his age at the time. But that was top notch. Or Bronx Park. There was always great competitions between us. And eventually, when I did play at Northwood, again, a strong team, but we lost the provincial championship when we played in Brandon, and probably the first time we were playing in an indoor rink. It was sort of, I was younger, you never paid attention to that. It was more of an adult thing, thinking we're all from the North End, well, and then I grew up with it later on, but I'm not sure. North Enders had maybe more pride in winning because they had less. But the hockey talent was spread evenly throughout the province. And I could kid you and say they're all from the North End, but I'd be kidding you, okay?